Hello, all of my accounting friends. I am excited to look at new technology. I will say for my career, the technology in the accounting industry has been what has fascinated me and kept my interest year after year. So now we've got this AI shift, and many of us are wondering what all can we do with it? So I have spent the last, I want to say about 12 months, really digging in. What does AI look like for accountants? And then this year, I decided my small firm is a testing ground. Let's start pulling all of these AI apps in. Let's test them, get my team members' feedback, talk to the solutions. What were their intentions when they were designing these technologies? And then get the application of how did it actually work inside of our firm? What did the team member and sometimes even the clients that were impacted by these solutions actually think about that software? It's been such a adventure, and I'm ending the year also talking about it, sharing my thoughts on AI. What can we do with it? How is it helpful to accountants and bookkeepers? And is it really all worth the hype? So there's conferences that I'll be talking at, social media, YouTube. So wherever you digest your information, I hope to bring this to you to make it easier for you to know what's out there, what should you really be listening into and incorporating into your firm. So it's lots of goodies that are out there. The areas that I dug into this year were really focused in, I would say, very specialized areas. I wanted to think about AI past ChatGPT and past the idea of, yes, I can help it, have it help me with wording an email or creating a document that's really well organized or an article that I wanted to clean up, format. I wanted to actually think about AI from the lens of the accounting firm and the bookkeeping firm. What can we actually do? What are those promises there? So the areas that I focused were first, bookkeeping. So when I think about bookkeepers, we're constantly looking for ways to import that information into whatever GL we're using. So for example, in QuickBooks Online, we've got bank feeds, that is being brought in. There's some AI categorization that's being, smart thinking. So logic is being placed with machine learning. And so the coding of those bank feeds transactions, for example, is getting better and better. There's a lot of tools out there that are also making the same kinds of promises for bookkeepers, getting the information from one place to another. So that's one way that AI for bookkeepers I've been evaluating. Another thing is we struggle with the data review. So we want to know once the inputted information is existing inside of QuickBooks or Xero, whatever solution you're using, how good is that information? So we can't expect to get good reporting and analytics if we do not have good insights into our data because our data is inconsistent. So AI for review, that was another area I wanted to really dive in to be able to say, this could also save accountants and bookkeepers time, and we could speed up the review process. What do those tools out there look like? There's several that I've evaluated, and there's a lot that are coming onto the market. So if you are an accounting or bookkeeping firm and you're thinking about how can you incorporate AI, this is another powerhouse place for you to be able to digest. I'm going to share several that I have evaluated in this review stage because that's a good place for us to save some time and to create that efficiency. Another area that I'm diving into is the analytics. So once we've got the data in, once we've got a good set of data, so we have quality review and take place, next we want to be able to do something with that data. So whether it's client deliverables, analytics that are being delivered so that way you can see year after year or quarter after quarter trends. If you're construction, all right, you could probably expect to have some delays and pushbacks because of maybe March or April showers. But then in May, June, July, August, all of those months are going to be heavy production months. So, you should be able to see some trends in that kind of data. Entertainment businesses, there's going to be trends. All of the different types of industries have got trend lines. And so being able to evaluate the information that is available to you inside of your GL, and then also industry type trends. There's a lot of analytical tools out there that are starting to blend this information and start to give you some predictions. And it's based off of AI. So those are some places that are really dug in deep. I'm going to be teaching a class at Scaling New Heights. It's going to be really diving into those core concepts, bookkeeping, review of the data, and then the client deliverables. And, what are the solutions? There's going to be demos that are going to be involved. I actually have an amazing lineup of speakers that are going to be joining. So I would make sure if you're going to be at Scaling, come to that session. If you're curious about AI, how you can use it, you're not going to just hear from myself. You're going to hear from other firms, different size firms. I would consider myself a baby firm. So there's going to be 2 other large firms that are going to be represented and another mid-size firm that's going to be there. So different perspectives, I think, is very important whenever you're evaluating technology. The other thing that I've been evaluating for the last few years is cybersecurity. Accountants need to have a layer of security. We have way too much sensitive information. So that's a place that I've been diving into, especially now that we've got hackers that have access to AI. We also need to have AI solutions that are going to combat all of those new AI threats that we've got. And then I would say the last area that I dove into for AI is industry specific or functionality specific apps. So AP apps that have AI included in them, reporting apps that would be more like calendar type analytics, messaging, those kinds of things. So I wanted to really kind of separate these concepts of accountants and bookkeepers performing their jobs, and then also what kinds of deliverables might you be providing for your clients, or what kinds of solutions might your clients be looking for in the AI space. So these are the kinds of concepts and tools that I've really spent some time evaluating, and it's giving me a really great chance to talk with these developers, to see behind the scenes, what are their roadmaps, what kind of challenges do they have, and then also have these interviews with these small clients like myself, small accounting firms like myself, mid-size accounting firms, and then also these large firms. How are they adopting AI? Because it's a much different environment whenever you're affecting a team of 150 accountants. So very different perspectives. You're going to hear a lot of that on my YouTube channel and inside of Instagram, because I want to share all of what I'm learning with all of you, because that's where I get my fun, is being able to share excitement. And that's included in the good stuff and the stuff that's like, these tools are still in development. They still need our help. So every single time that I'm evaluating a tool, you're going to hear that. What are my pros? What are my cons? And then ultimately, what's my feedback and what's my team's feedback? And if it affects the client, what's their feedback? So as you're digesting, we're going to be sharing, here's some of the ways that these tools were intended to be used, and here's what they actually did. I feel like my experience as an accountant and performing client bookkeeping and looking at technology has allowed me to be perfectly positioned to understand, here's all the nuances that we face within our firms. And also that entrepreneurial space of, if I'm going to incorporate a technology, that means I'm going to dedicate the resources in order to do it well. And that's not always an easy thing to do, which is why I really wanted to leave Accounting Lifeline as a space, as an incubator. I have a handful of clients in there that I dearly respect, and they've been along with me for a journey of quite a few years. And so they're willing to take this journey with me as we're testing different solutions. Some of those are going to be things that will impact them, those client deliverables, some of those tools that are going to be client specific. Whether it's looking at job costing and wanting to really dive into some analytics there, how could they be more profitable? Or some of these other types of solutions that are available for clients. The goal is to give as much insights as possible to clients so they can do better. And I would say, as an accountant running a firm, the thing that I want to keep looking at is, yes, I want to have a great client experience. So that's why I'm looking at those solutions too. But I also want to run an efficient firm. And anytime that you've got solutions in place and you can create some efficiency, then you can remove, I would say, some of the burden that's on our shoulders to actually perform the job. So you're removing some of that. Now I've got to, prepare my mind to be thinking about, reviewing the data. I got to wear that hat. Or now I need to think about how I'm going to deliver that data. I got to put on that hat. Or am I profitable with this particular client? Put on that hat. So I think that part of the reason implementing solutions is so difficult is because there's a lot of different hats that you have to take on, take off, implement. It didn't work, take that app away. Those are all things that you've got to put into place. So I would say I'm thrilled and honored to be in that position to be able to test these solutions and to give you my honest feedback. These solutions are not ones that are sponsoring these reviews. This is more of a, I'm curious, I want to share. So that allows me to be very transparent and to give you some insights. So I would say the solutions that I'm going to be showing, I'm paying for, or I have free trials, and maybe I don't even make it into a paid version because I change directions really quickly. So those are going to be things that you're going to see as well. I would say if you're like myself and you've got a solution that you would love to highlight, I do interviews. I'd love to have you come on. I'd love for you to join me and we can talk about that solution together. Why did you choose it? What are your findings? Are you going to stick with it? This is a time that many of us are tuning in and we want to know what's out there. And I can tell you, just as quickly as I'm adopting a new solution and evaluating it, I'm hearing about another one that does very similar functionality, but maybe in a different way. So it fits my workflow better. And so I go and I test that. If you're somebody who likes the solution that you're using and you want to share that feedback, I'd love for you to join. I'd love for you to share your insights. People are listening. We're curious. We want to know where should we invest our resources. The other thing I would say is, to all of the technology solutions out there, I know that you are in a time of excitement, but in some ways it's causing some crisis as well. So you have all of these new ideas and ways to develop that you start to implement on a roadmap, and maybe you even get to full development. And now the technology has changed so quickly that there's a better method for you to be able to develop. I can't tell you how many times over and over and over again, I'm talking these different solutions, and that is happening. They get into a product concept based on customer feedback. They go and develop that. And then as soon as they are through with A and B testing and that feature has gone live, there's a new way to do it and it's better. And so they've got to go back into development. So I feel for you. I really do. And, just like us, you're in this place of, we're kind of ebbs and flows right now. And to all of you accountants, I would say knowing that our tech solutions are in this deep development right now of these solutions, they're listening to us. They need to know what it is that we're looking for. So many of my peers are people like myself who love to give technology feedback. Be in a place where you can do that. Lean in, email, send feedback. So a lot of the different solutions have got, feedback buttons. Hit those, submit those. Maybe your feedback is on a chart list and it's got a ranking. And so the more of us that are asking for the exact same type of feature, that's going to move higher and higher up because it's got more votes as to what we're looking for. So they're going to put more resources into developing that. Because just like us with limited resources, so too do the tech solutions. So they got to prioritize what's important. So your feedback is being heard, and these solutions really are looking for it. Most of them can develop just about anything. They just need to know what to develop and how do we actually want to use that piece of functionality. So, where should it be mapped to? If it's something that's pulling information out of our GL, like QuickBooks or Xero, where would they gather that type of information? And then what would we want them to do with it? So those are all things that I would say our solution partners are deeply in tune to what it is that we're looking for. They want to be successful. Their success is dependent on our success. So it's very much a symbiotic relationship that's worth investing in, especially during this time of deep building of AI solutions. Stay tuned. Reach out if you want to be on with me and you want to partake in an interview. Love to do that. Love to see what you're doing. Love to help you get shared. And so that way other people who are interested in the same things, having the same problems, they can actually see your solution, and that might be a perfect fit for them too. So I will be doing more. I'll be seeing you more, traveling around. I think I'll be at 4 different conferences talking about this very thing. And so I hope to see you there, and I hope to hear from you. That's all for now. Signing out, Liz Scott. Make sure to stay tuned on my Instagram and YouTube channel.